Okay, so if you're setting up a short-term rental, what's the single most powerful tool you have? Seriously, think about it. It's not your clever description or even your pricing, it's your photos. We tend to think of them as just pictures, proof of the space. But today, we're going to reframe that. We're going to treat them like what they really are, your most important business tool for making a winning first impression. And this quote right here, it is the absolute truth. Just picture it. A potential guest is scrolling and scrolling through dozens, maybe hundreds of listings. Your photos are the only thing that can act like a speed bump and make them pause. Before they ever read a single word you've written, they've already made a judgment in a fraction of a second. Your job is to make sure that judgment is a, wow, I need to see more.
And that really boils down to two totally different ways of thinking. The beginner mindset says, hey, these photos just show what the place looks like. But the professional operator, they know that photos drive the decision. They're not just showing a room, they're communicating value, they're shaping the desire, and they are building trust from the very first glance. And our whole goal today is to get you thinking like a pro.
So let's dive into that first mindset, earning the click. You got to think, what's the very first real interaction a guest has with your property? It's not them walking through the door. It's them seeing your main photo. That first visual impression happens in a split second, long before their brain has even processed the price or the location. Yeah, this is so true. Your photo gallery isn't just a gallery. It's a machine, and every single image is a gear in the guest's decision-making engine. Good photos, they turn the gears smoothly towards that Book Now button. But bad photos, they just jam the machine and the guest clicks away instantly. Your photos are never just sitting there. They are actively working for you or against you. And this is exactly how it plays out in the real world. I mean, come on, think about the last time you booked a place. You see a listing with dark, blurry, cluttered photos. What do? You swipe right past it without a second thought. But when you see bright, clean, inviting images, you pause, you get a little curious, you start to explore. That's the power of building visual confidence right from the jump. All right, let's move on to our next big idea, which is the clarity mindset. This is a big one, and it's where so many new hosts kind of trip up. They get really caught up trying to take these super artistic or moody photos when what guests are actually desperate for is just information. And this really hits the nail on the head. A shadowy, moody photo of a coffee cup on a nightstand might look cool on Instagram, but it tells a potential guest absolutely nothing about the space. A clear, well-lit photo of the entire bedroom, though, that answers their questions. In this business, useful will always beat artsy. Every single time a guest is looking at your photos, they have this running list of silent questions in their head. Questions like, okay, but what does the room actually look like? Or where am I going to put my suitcase? Is that bathroom as clean and modern as I hope it is? Your photos need to answer all of these questions visually, so you can remove any doubt or uncertainty that might cause them to hesitate. So here's a super powerful practical tool for you. Put this in your back pocket. For every single photo you're thinking of using, run it through this four-part lens. 1. Is it clear? 2. Is it attractive? 3. Is it useful? And 4, and this is the big one, is it honest? If you can't say a firm yes to all 4 of those, that photo does not make the cut. It's really that simple. Okay, next up, let's talk about curation. See, having a bunch of great photos is only half the battle. The order you put them in is just as important, maybe even more so. Those first 3 to 5 photos do almost all of the heavy lifting. If they aren't your absolute best shots, you're literally losing bookings. Think about it like this. Your first photo is the first domino. If it's a weak photo, it starts this negative chain reaction in the guest's mind. Even if your 10th photo is absolutely stunning, the guest might already have a bad feeling. Or worse, they've already clicked away and will never even see it. A poor start can totally topple your entire listing. So this is the strategic question you have to ask yourself. And for a minute, forget about doing a logical room-by-room tour. You need to think like a marketer. What is the one thing, the one photo, about your property that makes a guest stop and say, whoa? That's what needs to be front and center. Maybe your wow factor is that big, light-filled living room. Or maybe it's the hot tub with that amazing view. It could be the balcony, the kitchen, whatever it is, that is your hero shot. It's the one image that best sells the entire experience you're offering, and it absolutely has to be one of your first 5 photos, no exceptions. And this leads us perfectly into our next big idea, the value mindset. So once you've figured out what to photograph,
How do you make sure those photos look as valuable as humanly possible? Well, the answer is a professional technique, but it's super easy to learn. It's called visual merchandising.
Now, visual merchandising might sound a little fancy, but it's actually really simple. It's the art of getting your property photo ready. It's about making sure every single little thing in the frame looks clean, looks intentional, and looks desirable. This is what separates a quick snapshot from a professional photo that actually sells.
And look, these are things anyone can do. We're talking about making the bed like it's in a five-star hotel, fluffing every single pillow, opening every blind to let in that beautiful natural light, and for sure, clearing every bit of clutter off every single surface. These little details add up to make a space feel polished, valuable, and really well cared for.
Now, it is so important to stress this point. Visual merchandising is not about being fake. It's not about misrepresenting your property or making it look like something it's not. It is all about presenting the absolute best, but still truthful, version of your space. It's about showing its full potential. And that brings us to our final, and probably the most important mindset of them all, the trust mindset. Because everything we've talked about so far, it has to be built on a foundation of honesty. That's the only way to build a successful business in the long run.
See, your photos do way more than just earn a booking. They set a powerful promise. They are literally creating a picture in the guest's mind of what their vacation is going to be like. And when they finally walk through that door, the reality had better match the promise you made.
Because when there's a big gap between the photos and reality, that's when trust is completely shattered. And that feeling of disappointment, it's so powerful. It makes guests feel like they got ripped off, and it is the #1 reason people leave bad reviews. You know that classic trick of using a super wide-angle lens to make a tiny room look huge? That might win you a booking today, but it's going to cost you with a bad review tomorrow.
I just love this quote because it sums everything up perfectly. The whole goal of your photography is to make a guest feel totally confident in their choice, so that when they arrive, their feeling is one of happy confirmation, not disappointing surprise.
So you see, the payoff for investing in great photos happens at every single stage. Before the booking, it grabs their attention and earns that click. But after they've booked, those same honest, clear photos are still working for you. They're setting the right expectations and building the trust that leads to a fantastic stay and hopefully a glowing 5-star review.
So, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. Great photos don't just make a property look pretty. They are a communication tool. Their job is to make the true value and the real experience of the stay easier for the right guest to see, to understand, and to trust. So, here's your homework. Go look at your own listing photos right now, or the ones you're planning to take, and ask yourself this one tough question. Are these images just showing a space, or are they creating genuine clarity and building real trust? Being honest with yourself about that answer is the fastest way to improve your entire business.